I think Sam Darnold, man, when you look at it, 3 years ago, he was supposed to be the savior of the New York Jets franchise at the quarterback spot. This man has had 3 to 4 different offensive coordinators in his ear calling plays for him. You cannot function like that. I don't give a damn who you are at the quarterback spot. You can't, let alone when you don't have any help. The receivers that they selected on the 53-man roster, he hasn't played with all 3 or 4 of them at once this year. Think about it. Every time he look up, there's a different receiver in the huddle. And he hasn't helped himself either. Because when you start to apply too much pressure, you start doing crazy things. Throwing the ball back against the grain, getting it intercepted.
Seeing ghosts.
Seeing the ghost, yeah. Seeing the ghost comment, yeah. That's never going to leave him.
Never.
And so you start to think about those things. If they move him, whatever they decide to do with him, hypothetically, let's say that they decide we're going to move him. We want to get him out of the AFC. We don't want him to be in the AFC, but we'll move him to the NFC. And they send him to San Francisco. 2 years from now, he's in the Super Bowl. You see what I'm saying? Or for whatever reason, they jet it and they decide to do.
They brown it, they jet it. We're doing them all this.
I don't care. Pittsburgh has given us a 3 and a 2, a 3 in 2021 and a 2 in 22.
Okay.
We're going to move him to Pittsburgh. And then all of a sudden, he becomes the next Ben Roethlisberger. While you sitting over here with Trevor Lawrence and his family, and you got that whole situation over there, and you're trying to build.
He can't help himself, Zubin.
He's trying to build off of that. And meanwhile, he's over here in Pittsburgh on his way to a Super Bowl, on his way to an AFC championship.
But Key, you're giving me a lot of hypotheticals. I can give you another hypothetical. He stays with the Jets, and this is just who Sam Darnold is, even if you surround him with pieces. There's that hypothetical, too. Like, it just doesn't work. What if he goes to a Pittsburgh, which is a way better team?
But I've seen enough, Jay, to know that can be fixed. I've seen enough to know that can be fixed. It's all about, again, we just had a conversation for the past 30 minutes about Baker Mayfield. That is getting fixed in Cleveland because they're not asking him to do what the expectations were, which is throw the ball out of shotgun 50 times a game. Those expectations have to be tailored down for Sam Darnold. They have to be coached and tailored down. They're not doing enough to help him, period. And I know in this world that we live in, we like the moment. We like to live in the moment. And the moment is the great Trevor Lawrence and the bad Sam Darnold, or the great Justin Fields and the bad Sam Darnold. That's what we like to do. It's not my call, because it would be an easy call for me. I would bring in my new head coach, and we would sit down and evaluate Sam Darnold and make a decision for the organization as the president and general manager of the team. And we would say to ourselves, do we believe that these other 2 young quarterbacks can lead us to where we want to go with the same type of talent? We have some money, and we have some draft picks. We have another first-round pick, and another later first-round pick. Maybe we could draft a wide receiver. Maybe we can go get Jamar Chase. Maybe we can go get Waddle or Smith out of Alabama. Maybe we can go find some guys. We have some picks. Is Trevor Lawrence the answer? Because we got to spend some money on Sam Darnold 2 years from now, or we could franchise tag him. We could continue to play that game and let Trevor Lawrence go somewhere. Maybe Trevor Lawrence is great, but you got to bet on something.
Or who you get a higher trade value for, what you can get more in return for, right? Pretty much, essentially.
Well, you're gonna get more. You're gonna get more in return for the first overall pick.
Trevor Lawrence. Well, 2 things. Number one, it feels like Adam Gase. It feels like this is a last ditch effort to not save his job.
I was going to say it ain't going to work.
Not to save his job, but I think to save his respectability, right? To try to say maybe a future job. Like, I'm trying to do things right. I'm trying to do things right while I'm on my way out the door here. I'm going to try to sit here and say, it's like a confession, essentially, saying like, hey, look, I messed up. I haven't handled my responsibility. That's number one. Number two, I think it's going to be harder and harder to kind of go away from the hype that's going to come with Trevor Lawrence. It's Key.
Hype is dangerous. You know that, Jay.
I know. And Key, you played here in New York. We're in New York.
No, I get it.
And I know you posed a lot of hypotheticals about him going to Pittsburgh or him going somewhere else and then winning a Super Bowl. But the same thing, if you're a New York fan, if you're a Jet fan, you're also worried about maybe even if we do surround Sam Darnold with the right skill sets or the right players, personnel-wise, maybe this is who Sam Darnold is. Maybe he never blossoms out of this. Dude, man, you know this. A lot of players, your first couple of years in the league, it takes a really strong personality to bear out of that and say, that's not who I am. And all of a sudden play better. Maybe this is who Sam Darnold is still.
The difference with Sam, though, he's not fractured mentally.
How do you know that?
Look, first of all, I know him. So I know that just off the rip, as they say, full transparency. He's not fractured at all. At all, he's not fractured. Trust me on that one. Just sometimes you got to have people help you in the right directions. I'll say it and I'll say it again. Had I had Richie Kotite as my entire coach for my 4 years or whatever in New York, I wouldn't be sitting up here with you today. Just trust me on that one.
I understand that. Coaching has a lot to do with it. Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN Plus right now.